What's going on, guys? Cody here with Dangle Nation. Listen, if you're like me, you live in the South, there's one thing that is synonymous with the summer and the spring, and it is the wind. So today I'm gonna talk about how to conquer a lake in windy conditions, because if you're like us, no matter what, you're hitting a lake. So let's break it down, let's talk about it. All right, guys, we're gonna get after it today. And my first tip for y'all actually comes from the helm, comes from the back of the boat. Now, what I want y'all to do is keep in mind of what direction the wind is blowing. That's the key factor. And if you've watched a couple videos ago, we talked about boat control. The reason you want to always know where the wind is because you need to know which way you're going to fish, and I mean directionally. So right now we have a south-southeast wind, which means our boat is going to face south-southeast. So before I even get on the lake, I look at a map, I figure out, okay, what do I have available to me and where can I fish? And that's how I plan my trip out. Now, this is my home lake, so I know a lot of spots on this lake. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So I kind of plan out where I'm gonna fish based on what I know because of previous experiences. But if you're going to a new body of water, just look at the wind, pull up a map, kind of draw an arrow in your head on which way the wind is going and which way your boat is gonna face, because you know how it is, they're always gonna face into the wind. Now, the second thing I'll tell you is get a good weather app that tells you the wind. The best app that I have found is called WeatherBug, and it gives you hour-to-hour data. And I'll tell you right now, it is probably the most accurate app that I have come across. So today specifically, I know the first 3 hours of the day, moderate wind. You can hear the wind ripping through the fishing pole line right now. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's a moderate wind until about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So what I would suggest is, in that window, go to the main lake first. Start at the main lake, break down your favorite spots on the main lake, and then as the wind picks up, you want to go into coves or cuts or against walls that are against the wind. So right now we're on the main lake. We're gonna pull up to our first spot. We're gonna drop down, catch a couple of slabby patties, and then go down from there. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so one of the first fishing tips I'll give you when you're fishing in high winds is that weight is your friend, guys. So when it comes to getting your lure down to the fish effectively, you need to add weight. So one way that we do that is if I'm just slacklining a jig, which is just a jig, nothing on it, what I'll do is I'll take a split shot and I'll put it about 8 to 10 inches above the jig head like that. Now that is our bigger split shot. It's a little bit heavier, because what you want to do, you want to combat this surface current that will be pushing your jig back towards you as you cast. And this also means you need to cast a little bit further. Now, if you're using a slip cork setup, you can still fish in the wind and you can still use weight. What we offer is these weighted barrel swivels. So these weighted swivels, they come in 2 different sizes, and that's what they look like. And what you'll have is you'll have an additional weight to your line, so you can have your minnow underneath it and your bobber above it, but this will help get your jig down. Now, I wouldn't recommend using a barrel swivel out here in 20, 25 foot deep water, but if you're gonna be fishing 8 to 10 foot of water, the barrel swivels work great. So that said, I added my weight to my 1/8 ounce jig made by Cade. Thank you, sir. So what we're gonna do, drop this thing down in there and see if any of these fish down here wanna react. So again, we have a pile right here, 16 foot. So I'm just gonna cast out to it. And I don't know if there's anything on it, but what you can see is my jig is falling right there. It's falling right there at 22 foot. I'm gonna go through that ball of shad. I'm gonna drop down. And all I'm gonna do, guys, I'm just gonna come over this pile. I'm just gonna trace this pile like we always do. We're gonna pendulum over this pile. We're just gonna see if anything chases us, anything reacts, anything comes out to see what's up. So not too much activity today. So, you know, the wind also has the effects on the current. There's a ton of shad, as you can see. I mean, we're getting tons and tons of shad down there. Nothing followed me off of that pile, but it does look like there might be something down in it. So I'm gonna actually push up here and get a little bit closer. And I'm gonna reposition us just a little bit so we can have a little bit better look at this thing, because it looks like there might be a couple of fish on it. So let's pull up. It looks like there's 2 or 3 down on the inside of it. So another key factor to think about when you're out here on the main lake is boat slap. So what that means is, as your boat is on the water, it's going up and down. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but every time a wave hits the boat, boom, 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 it makes an audible noise that the fish can 100% hear down in the depths. Now, I know they can hear it because when the wind is really bad, we'll graciously pull up to a spot, the boat will rock real hard and boom, come down, and the fish, they scatter out, kind of like when you stomp your foot on the deck. Now, the good thing about crappie is they'll usually reload pretty quickly, but just keep the boat slap in mind whenever you're sneaking up on a pile. So let's drop down in this one. Again, I'm just gonna dead stick this one because I'm right over it now. I'm right over it, so it doesn't look like there's too terribly much in this pile, but I'm gonna hang it in there just to see if anything wants to come out. I didn't see anything. Look at them whites right there though. That's what white bass look like as they just come shooting through the screen. But we're just gonna float through here. And maybe I hook up. There we go. There we go, guys. Got a little guy. Drifted right through there. Look at that, guys. We out here catching slabby patties, son. Out here with them slabby patties. So, you know, there's that one. But look at all these whites going below us. Let's see if we can catch one of them. Look at them things, golly. So when it comes to those guys, just get a jig in the water. Just get in the water, get it down there. But we're not here for that. So one more cast on this pile and then we're gonna move. Again, we're gonna break down the main lake spots first because that wind is supposed to pick up and we don't want to deal with that. Looks like there's a couple right there. Yep, see them coming out to me? It's probably a white bass, as crazy as they're getting. All right, so not a lot here, so I'm gonna pick up, I'm gonna move to the next spot and we're gonna go from there, so y'all stick around. Drop down that first spot. Didn't have that much luck, so we came over to another spot that I know. So right now the fish are at about 28 feet. Yeah, it's a little farther than I want to be. So I'm going to push up a little bit. You can see in the top of this tree, there's some good size fishies right there. So what we're going to do is drop down on those. So we're going to stop them around 20 foot. I'm going to pitch out to them. You can see my jig hit the water about 38 foot. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing this is because we added that heavy split shot, your drift, your swing that is gonna be so much faster than if you don't have anything on the line. So just make sure you keep in mind the weight that you've added also affects the way that this thing's gonna drop through the water. I actually got a little off course there a little bit, but look at that fish down in the mud. All right, I don't like it. Let's pick back up and retry. Now, another thing to talk to you about is in the wind, your graphs, they could look a little bit different. With wind brings debris, brings pollen, brings cloudiness, brings silt. So these things are all things that can affect the visibility / clarity of your actual head unit. So, you know, you're gonna see me, and I told you in the other video, I like to mess with the gain. So what I'll do is I'll play with the gain a little bit, mess with that a little bit, and you just gotta figure out what works for you on your body of water for the clarity that you're most comfortable with. Now, is this the absolute best picture that we can have? No, it's not, but I'm not interested in that right now. I'm interested in catching fish in this wind before we get blowed out of here. At the end of the day, if you wanna adjust some stuff, you can, or you can stop and fix it now. It's totally up to you, but let's go over these fish right here. So I got one right here. Go over face, there we go. So I come off that branch. Man, I tell you what, if today was about the nursery, good night, man. Oh man, these little fishies. I see his mama down there. I see his mama, and that's what I want is his mama, but oh goodness. Give us just a second here. Let me get this thing out of this poor guy's mouth. There we go. Got it out. Got that slabby patty. Oh, guys, I want y'all to drop in the comment section and say, what's up, Todd? Look, my camera's looking at your camera. Todd decided to come out with us today. Those of you that don't know, Todd is the magic behind the method here. Man behind the, whatever. He's the editor. He helps edit the videos. And I said, dog, so the problem is Todd likes to sleep in. He's a sleeping inner. He's a sleeper inner. I said, Todd, brother, my dog, my dude, you're gonna have to get up early if you wanna come. He said, all right, I'll be there. And lo and behold, here he is. He showed up. He showed up. There he is, sure enough. All right, guys. Was out on the other side of the lake and just wasn't putting together that much of a pattern that I like. So we came across here. Gonna check a couple of other spots. Now, the wind has started. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. The wind has started to increase. There we go. So ooh, there we go. We're getting better. Oh, we're getting better. We're getting better. There we go. So the wind has started to increase. So what we did is we were out in the main lake where there's no protection from the wind at all. So what I've done is I've come behind this wall. Now we're pretty far off of the wall, so we're still gonna get the effects of the wind, but it's not as bad as out on the main unprotected lake. So we're gonna drop down a couple times in this pile. Now keep in mind, as the wind increases, the rate of swing for your jig also increases. So we're gonna cast a little bit further. This pile's at 22 feet, but I'm dropping down at 30 feet. That way by the time we get down there, I go across this big humdinger's head right here. Watch this. Ooh, he wanted it. By the time we get across his head, it's in the right area. So again, pile's at 20 foot. So what I'm gonna do is cast to about 24, 28. There you go, you saw me, I went to 30 foot that time. And all that is because I wanna drop down there, lock in my bail, and bring that jig across them fish's face at the right plane. Because of the rate of drift, we wanna make sure we're controlling all of these factors. So here we go, let's go over this pile. Looks to be like there's a couple of eaters in there, which is good news, but they're not chasing. So let's push up to it a little bit closer, see if we can't dead stick on them a little bit. So now we've pushed up, let me zoom this in back into reality, and look at that big old humdinger right there at 16 feet. So that 16-foot fish is one that I am very, very interested in. So I'm gonna drop right on him. Actually, it was a little short. Now see how I drifted back behind him? He's not gonna see me, and if he does, oh, actually, oh, there we go, baby. He came off the pile. That one was super aggressive. There we go, there we go. There we go. Now you saw, it looked like I dropped behind him, but he was just so fired up. Nice fish too, dude. Nice fish. And he's just so fired up that you saw him come across that pile and he hammered this jig, and you could see he was on top of that pile. So again, casted past him. That way I control the descent and the drift. Came into his face and deck flip a slabby patty. All right, we're gonna get some pictures. We'll pick y'all right back up. All right, so we got a couple more. Now, don't forget, we're minding our boat slap, we're minding the noise, we're minding all this stuff. So I'm gonna go past it. There's still a couple of nice ones in there. So I'm gonna drop down. There's a nice one sitting right on the top again. So I'm gonna just drop down there like this, right? And there he is. Oh, I pulled it out of his mouth, guys. You see him? See him swimming off? Ah. One thing to keep in mind when it's this windy, y'all can probably hear the wind is starting to pick up more and more. The boat is gonna start acting really weird. So I use a center console, right? So this console portion does act as a sail in elevated winds. A bass boat, not as much, but you can get it. And what I mean by that is sometimes you'll be on spot lock and you'll drift left and right. It's because the wind is pushing the boat in different directions. So you just gotta be mindful and watch your remote if you're using a remote, and watch your pedal if you're using the pedal. Just pay attention to the screen. Like right now, we're already pushed back. I just pushed up to 16 foot, but the current is so strong that it's pushing us, physically pushing us back. And look, it even tells me on my remote, we're 7 foot back. So it's fighting, using all of its power to push us up that 7 foot to get us back where we had it. Now, you can help it by hitting the button 1 and going up closer to it. But this is also the importance of having the correct size trolling motor. So this is a 36 volt. If I had a littler one, based on the weight and size of my boat, it would not work as well. So make sure when you're picking out new trolling motors or anything, your equipment is also as important as your actual gear. So here we go. Let's drop down on this pile one more time. Starting to get some white caps too, boys. Starting to get that fun. It's a fun wind. Here we go. Let's drop down this pile. And I'm gonna hover. I like watching them come out and attack. There we go. See that? Oh, this is a nice one. Oh, this is a nice one, guys. This is a nice one, guys. Oh, dang, she's running. Oh, that was a good one right there. That was fantastic. I'm not sure what's funnier, catching fish in the wind or watching Todd with his little sea legs bouncing all over the place, but that's what we're after, guys. Oh, yes, sir. That's what we're after. And you know, if we use the scope, boop, they don't stay in the boat. All right, let's get down there. There's another one down in the mud. Now, this is what I mean. So see how steep my pole has moved? Now, remember, I like to keep them at a 1 o'clock, and it's been at 1 o'clock this whole time, but the wind has us pushed off. So I'm gonna go left because I want that pile that's over here, I want that pile to come more in front. That way we can all watch it. Honestly, it's just better for the camera. If it was just me out here with no camera, no nothing, I would just fish. So here we go. There's a bunch of nice fish in here, guys. I want you to pay attention to that. I mean, look at the size of the fish. That's a fish, that's a fish, that's a fish. That's probably the biggest fish. So pay attention when you're looking at stuff to what you're seeing in the pile. And we keep pulling up these nice fish. I mean, they're not tiny fish. So let's go over this fish right here. I bet you we'll catch that one too, watch. Woo! So, oh, he's coming up. Oh, he's with me. He's with me. He's not gonna bite, but that one up top will. Let's just immediately turn and burn. Let's go right back down into that pile. Man, this wind is getting crazy. Here we go. So I'm gonna go back over the top of that pile. I wanna hit that fish right there at the end. So I'm dropping down right there in his face, staying over him, going right over his face. Ooh, a little one followed me out. So y'all saw that little baby fish follow me out. But again, we're off a little bit, so I'm gonna push over left just a fuzz. So here we go. All right, there looks like there's 1 or 2 left in there. So let's try to dead stick them. So I've been penduluming this whole time. Let's dead stick right over them. Now what I want you to pay attention to is look at my jig. See how it's bouncing up and down with me as these waves come rolling in? So you need to keep that bounce in mind when you're in the pile. Because when you're in the pile, if you're above the fish, that's good. But if you drop down and drop down, drop down, all that motion could turn the fish off. So what you need to do is use your arm kind of like a hydraulic dampener, and you just need to keep that jig level and kind of play the wind. So look at the screen now. As I'm playing the wind now, I'm gonna keep it right on that 12-foot mark right there. And you see, actually there's a fish looking at me right now. That's funny. Hold on, we might catch this fish, hold on. But anyway, so you'll see on my jig, I'm gonna keep it on that 12-foot line through these waves. And how I'm doing that is I'm just keeping my arm kind of in motion, more in the wrist than in the arm. And so what that's, oh, he just hit it. What that's doing is it's keeping the jig steady. So high wind, you have to be the steadying arm for the actual jig down in the water so you're not affecting your fishery. Guys, we're pushing into the 15 to 18 mile an hour wind now. So we're gonna hit this pile a couple more times and we're gonna push to our spot number 3, where I'll show you the significant difference and the importance that land plays when you're fishing in the wind. All right guys, so what we did is we left the crazy winds of the main lake, and I want you to look, see this? I'm in a cove now. So what had happened was the wind is now coming from behind this land basically. I know this seems super remedial, but sometimes if you're like me, you get super deep in thought and you forget the basics. So what we've done is we've tucked up in a cove right here, so you can tell the difference too. You can see and hear and feel the difference here. We can have a normal conversation now. We're not out there fighting the hurricane. So make sure you pick out a couple of coves that are into the backside of the wind. That way, whenever you get to the lake, you have a spot you can tuck away and ride out the wind safely. That's the key thing, is safely. There's no fish in the world that's worth you getting out there and getting all capsized and stuff. I mean, even the pros have wind delays. So let's hit this pile. Let's see if we can pick anything up. And then what I'm gonna do, guys, it's not a waste of a cast. I'm gonna come up this shelf right here and then over this back brush pile. Because what can happen is these fish can be in this mud and you won't even see them, and they'll just come out and they'll just hammer your jig. So we're gonna go in that mud and we're gonna come up over this pile. I'm gonna drift through this pile. There we go, see, told you. And we found more magnums. Oh man, I'll tell you what, if today's video is all about catching mondos, we'd be on the money. Good night. All right, let's check another spot. Okay, so we pushed across the cove. Thought the cameras were on, didn't realize they weren't, so we got that one. Let's drop down, let's catch a couple more, guys. I actually switched colors and I switched profiles, so I got a little bit smaller, and I'm going with the orange body now. So let's drop down here and see if we can't connect with a couple more. But you can tell, guys, yes, this is the same day. This is the same day, same everything, but look how much calmer it is over on this side of the lake compared to out there on the main lake. Now, as the wind dies down, we can try and go back out to the main lake. That's no problem at all. And we may do that because this wind is real, it's real cyclical. So it's gonna be real aggressive for a little bit and then it'll slack off for a little bit. What I wanna do is I wanna plant it right there on those fish though. So here, let me pitch over to them. And I just wanna take that jig and I just wanna drop it right in them fish's face. That's really what I'm trying to do, is just go over that pile right there, and I'm gonna drop down into these fish's face like this. You can see how they're all starting to see what's up, starting to follow it. And what I wanna do is I try to break through the little guys and get a little bit lower in the pile, because typically the bigger fish are lower in the pile, especially when you have a bunch of brood underneath, or I'm sorry, over top of them. So, but we're not picky, we'll take anything. There's one down there in the mud. He's looking kinda juicy. Kinda juicy. Now my jig is in that pile, guys. Let me pick it up so y'all can see it. So it's actually over here, my bad. So So there's a fish right there. See him? Let's see if we can get that fish to connect here. I just want to keep it over them. Just want to keep it right there where they can see it. It's in their face. If they want to bite it, they can. Sometimes I give it a little pop. Sometimes I'll shake my rod tip a little bit, give it a little vibration. But really what we're wanting to see is them fish just hammer it. And I won't lie to you, sometimes it's a pain. Sometimes they don't want to do it. So here we go. Got one coming off the edge right there. So let's go across the very top right here. Let's just mess with these fish up top and then drop down in there. There we go. Drop down in that pile. Oh, I hit them. See them squirt out? It's because I hit them with a jig. And they do not like being touched. Oh! Piles like this can be so fun, guys, because what will happen is you can just sit here. Let's go for these fish in the back, guys. Let's pitch out to those fish out there in the back. Let's see if they want to play ball. And those are the bigger ones. They pushed off of the pile a little bit, so we're coming up behind them. And all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna float it right over their head. Pay attention back here, guys. I'm just gonna float it right over their heads. That's all I'm gonna do. Just keep it right above them. There we go. See if they wanna, see they chase me for a minute. Chase me. Oh, see, there's a whole nest of them in that mud, guys. And that's the stuff you gotta pay attention to as well, is you wanna look for these fish that are in the mud. There's a whole nest of them right there. Let's pitch over to them again. I'm just gonna keep it right above their heads, right over them. That's all we're doing, guys, right over them. Oops, sorry, let me get to where y'all can see it. Just go right over them, just like that. And as you float, see them coming towards me? Woo! Uh-oh, got one, got another taker. Let's see. Come on, big dog. I'm just gonna keep that steady drift, steady upward motion. He pulled off of it, so let's do, let's go back. Let's see what the pile looks like now. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bounce back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, doing the pile, doing the floaters, doing the pile, doing the floaters. And you know, it's one way to hook up to some slabby patties. And these fish are being real picky today. Man, they're being picky today. How about let's hit that one at 12 foot. That one at 12 foot looks to be a good sized fish, guys. So let's hit that one at 12 foot. I'm gonna actually bring this jig over here. I'm gonna walk down the boat. Todd's gonna stay on the screen with y'all. I'm gonna get in position here to catch this fish. So let's go right over his face, right here. There we go, guys. And that is a freaking donkey. There we go. So we saw him on the backside. Drop down to him. Big old black crappie, guys. Big old black crappie. That is what we're after. So guys, I hope you picked something up today. The wind is calming down. We may push out to the main lake and catch a couple more, but that's what you're after right there, guys. That's what you come to the lake for. I hope y'all pick some tips up today. Remember, start early before the wind picks up. As the wind picks up, find a wall that you can get behind, and then once the wind is really ripping, get into a cove. Guys, I'm telling you right now, the wind on the main lake is still 18 miles an hour right now. But look at me behind me. Calm as can be. Calm pocket that you can come in, get on some brush piles because they're starting to stack back up, and get on some slabby patties. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Share this video with some of you think that would enjoy it. Check out this playlist right here, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Don't stop the dangle. Peace.